You're unique on purpose. God knows who you are. I'm going to say that one more time. You are unique on purpose. God knows who you are. Guys, I'm glad to be alive, to be breathing, to see another day. And I remember my big sis did a message said, you don't belong. You don't fit in. And I remember growing up in life, as I told you, I came from a large family on my mom's side, my mom's side. I came from a large family on my dad's side, but I pretty much grew up and was raised up under my mom's side of the family, which is my grandmother. And I remember growing up, being around that side of the family, and then meeting some of my dad's side of the family. And I kept saying, I don't feel like I belong to these people because they don't act like I act. They don't have that same kind of personality I have. It's like I'm always ostracized. It's like I'm always being put to the side. It's like I'm always overlooked. And I know some of you probably felt the same way amongst your family, amongst your friends. For me, it was mainly my family. I remember when I was younger, and when I had my baby got pregnant at 13, had my baby, got sent down south to have my baby at 14. And the family would say, oh, she clean up. Her mom said she likes to clean. And I said, yeah, I like to keep things clean. So I was like the mini Cinderella in the family, the mini Cinderella, because my mom was the big Cinderella of the family. And I remember everybody would always invite me to the house to clean their house. And their house, sometimes I can tell you, some of their houses was not clean. I remember at my grandmother's house, and I would watch my cousins and everybody and my uncles outside, because we kind of like around the same age group. Because, we're about, I think in my uncle's side of the family, we're about 7 to 8 years apart in age-wise amongst each other. So we kind of all played together growing up, because I don't know if I told you, myself, my other cousin, and my other cousin who we lost about a couple of years ago, she would have been 53 this year. Well, last year, her birthday was November. It would have been her, my other cousin, and myself, 51. And so we grew up together. But every time I would get invited to the house, I would always be the one cleaning up. I was the Cinderella, and the stepsisters. And in my case, I didn't have stepsisters. It was just me. I'm the oldest of 5 on my mother's side, the oldest of 5 on my dad's side. So I promise y'all, I'm telling you from firsthand experience, being the firstborn child is not as easy as people think it is. Being the firstborn child comes with a lot of struggles. Being the firstborn child comes with a lot of triumphs, a lot of tragedies, a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations. But I know that's because God allowed us to be the firstborn child on purpose, for his plan. Again, as I keep telling you, your girl Morgan is learning this as I grow, as I go, and I'm moving in life. And so I remember when I would go to my grandmother's house, I would have to watch my other cousins play outside, because I'm in the house cleaning. And everybody would come to her house to eat, and they would have piles and piles and piles of dishes. And your girl Morgan had to be the one to keep them dishes clean. And I was like, well, girl, I go outside to play. And she like, no, you got to do them dishes, And then once the dishes got to be done, I'm one of them people, I see something else out of place. Okay, well, can you go clean that over there too? And can you not? And I would never notice. I would always notice, and I would always see that I would never notice my other cousins coming in the house to help clean. My uncles, who actually lived in this house, come and clean. And it would always be Morgan. It would be Cinderella coming and cleaning the house, cooking for everybody. And so I became that person growing up, because my mother kept telling everybody she likes to clean. She knows how to cook. So because I was the person who was known to be that, and I kept saying, okay, I'm growing up, and as I'm getting older, and I still kept saying, I don't feel like I belong to these people. I don't think this is my family. And again, we cannot ask who we're born into. God places us to the family he wants us to be a part of, because he knows the assignment. It's just that it's not our fault that the family members don't follow the assignment all the way to completion. They don't follow the assignment all the way to the end. Because, you got a lot of families right now that's so divided. And of course, as I told you, my family has always been against me. My family really never loved me. They really never liked me. They tolerated me. And, when they tell you they love you, I have maybe a handful of people in my family who actually say they love Morgan Rees that actually loves Morgan Rees. And they've showed me over my years. Unfortunately, a couple of those people are no longer here. And I only still have a handful that's left that's still on earth that I communicate to on a sometimes basis. But I only have a handful of family out of this large family. When I tell you my mother's side of the family her mother's side of the family is super large, and that's just our immediate family. That's just our immediate family. We ain't even talk about the extended family. We talk about the immediate family. And I will always say, okay, I don't know why they treat me this way. I don't believe I belong to these people. I don't believe I fit in. I'm unique on purpose. You know, they don't like me. That's okay. I don't care if they don't like me. But deep down, I really did care because I'm like, they my family. We supposed to love each other. I love them whether they love me or not. And then I meet my daddy's side of the family, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't know. These people they don't embrace me like I embrace them. I remember before my sister would pass, and when she found out she had breast cancer, and everybody called me the emotional one out of the family. She always crying. She always so emotional. Hey, I love my heart. You may not love my heart, but I love my heart. I love that I have feelings. I love that I have emotions. If you tell me something happened to you, you got sick or you got hurt or you lost something, I'm going to have compassion for you. I'm going to have sympathy for you. I'm going to have empathy for you. And not only am I going to have it, I'm going to show it to you. So if you don't like that I'm nice and I'm sweet and I'm lovey-dovey and I'm very emotional, that's a you problem. Because again, I'm a unique person on purpose. Because, you know, God knows who I am. I am a unique person on purpose. You are a unique person on purpose because God knows who you are. So I remember when she caught breast cancer and I was like, you know, okay, how did this happen? What happened? What's going on? And she kind of like was pushing me off. No, you know. And I would always call and check on her. And she was like, oh my gosh, she's doing so much. And I remember we were supposed to hang out that one last time before she passed. And we never got a chance to do that. She wanted to hang out with other people. And I was like, well, what's wrong? I know you don't got much time left. I know you don't have much time left. But I'm still praying for you because I know you're going to get healed. But I just didn't know her journey. I didn't know her past. I didn't know her path. I just know that she's my sister, and I know I'm supposed to pray for the people that's closest to me, and I'm going to make sure I pray for those people that's closest to me. And I remember it's time right before she transitioned, and I kept saying, why you didn't tell me how sick you really was? What's going on? What happened? And she said, well, I didn't tell you because you're so emotional, and I just didn't want that on me. You know, I didn't need that at that time. And I said, okay, that's fine. And, you know, other family members was doing so. It's something about Morgan. She different. She don't act like us. She don't, even my other sister, she said, you know, sis, you never belong. You never feel like you fit in. And now I realize after my sister bring the message, I didn't belong on purpose. You don't belong on purpose. You don't fit in on purpose. I don't fit in on purpose. Like even now, like before I wrote my book, Endurance is Victory, that didn't really have much of a great connection with the family anyway. And then, of course, once the book was written, everybody was like, oh, we really don't like her now because she's telling the things that we've done to her. She's sharing with the world the places, the way that we treated her, the things that we did to her. And instead of them having the heart of saying, hey, let's have a conversation with Morgan. Let's have a sit down with her and let's, you know, hash this thing out, you know, and let's discuss the things that took place. I only had one family member, with one of my mother's sisters, only one of her sisters who actually came back and said, I got your book, but I'm going to ask you for your forgiveness now. I'm going to tell you I'm sorry now. Because I thought when I was growing up, I thought I was the greatest kid ever. I thought I was the greatest aunt ever. I thought I did everything right. And as I was going through life and growing through life, I connected with some people and they said, oh no, you were off the chain. You were bad. And I was like, really? And she said, I may have done some things to you, so I'm going to ask you for your forgiveness now. I'm going to say I'm sorry now. I'm going to get your book. I'm going to support you, but I'm going to say I'm sorry now. And for me, that felt like the biggest weight on my shoulder off. And I was like, okay, one down, 8 more to go. One down, 8 more to go, or 7 more to go. One down, 7 more to go, not 8, because my mom's older sister was a sweetheart. My mom's older sister was again, firstborns. I promise you, y'all, I'm telling you, the woes of us firstborn children is none other. And then if you're not a firstborn child or God places that responsibility on you, whether you're a middle child, whether you're in child, you understand what we have to go through, what we have to deal with, the traumas, the trials, the tribulations, the ups, the downs, the nobody wanting to be around you, but everybody needs you when they need you around them. That is my journey. That's still my journey. That's been my path. That's still my path. So when she apologized, and I said, I received that with an open heart. I come from a family where the rest of them doesn't want to do that. Then I kept saying, I don't belong. I don't fit in. And so now as I'm on this healing journey, I'm on the deliverance journey, and I'm like, okay, now it does make sense. I kept telling people all the time, I'm a unique person, one of a kind. I'm a unique, one of a kind person on purpose. One of a kind. I'm a unique, one of a kind person on purpose. One of a kind. There's none like me. There's never going to be no one like me. Just like you are a unique, one of a kind on purpose person. There's nobody going to be like you. There's nobody going to, there's no duplications, no carbon copies. So when those people out there trying to copy me, I'm like, you copying who? Because you don't know my journey. You don't know my path. You don't know my past. You don't know my trials, my tribulations. Even when people say, well, I read her book, so I know who she is. And the thing is, that was the book. I changed. I evolved. I grown. I hope you will too. So whenever you're ready to have that conversation, that uncomfortable conversation, I'm right here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm right here. But because you come from when you're born into a family that has so much toxicity, that has so much negativity, that has so much dysfunction, that has so much division, that has so much breakage amongst the family unit, and it passed down from cousin to cousin to cousin, and it passed down from generation to generation to generation. When is somebody going to stand up and say, hey, we don't have to be like this? I remember when both sides of the family, I would watch on social media, they would have cookouts, they would have parties, they would have gatherings, and I said, well, dang, I don't live too far. They could have called and invited me. You know, why they invite me? Or why they didn't call my mom? Or why they didn't invite us? And I remember when the book came out, the aunt said, oh, yeah, we had this kind of thing going on in South Carolina. And we did. And I said, well, nobody never called us. We're part of the family. They didn't like us. We didn't belong. We didn't fit in. And then I remember when my cousin passed and those family members walked up to me and said, we do love you. We do love you. Again, I didn't feel that embracement. I didn't feel that love. My thing is, God knows our hearts. And when he knows our heart, he'll place that inside of you. He'll place that same type of heart that Jesus has. He will place that same type of heart in you if you're willing to open your door and receive that. So when I tell you you're one of a kind, you're unique, you don't belong, you don't fit in, because God knows who you are. God knows who you are, and his plan, his purpose for you is totally different from the other side of the family. Not like you're better than, because I promise you, very flawed, been done did some things. Not that I'm better than. It's just that I got a different plan and I got a different calling. And whenever it's time for us to finally come back together as a family unit, we can come back together as a family unit. So I'm telling you, for those of you who are a part of family members and they ostracize you or they got nicknames for you, because again, I came from a family with nothing but nicknames, and most of the nicknames were bad nicknames. Mine is the ones who were good people who they thought looked better than me or looked better than other family members or was acting better. They gave them pretty cute names. And for us, we got the ugly, disrespectful, the demeaning names. And so, because of that's the kind of family I was born into, and I kept saying, you know, Lord, I'm still holding out for him. I know it's some good inside them deep down somewhere. Can you dig down? It's not going to be for me to dig down. It's going to be for him to dig down. So when I tell you you're one of a kind, unique person on purpose, God knows who you are. Even if your family and your friends don't know who you are. Oh, we're going to go a little further. If you go to a job and you seem to always have conflict with somebody at the job, or you always have an issue with somebody at the job, it's not you. But it is you, because you're unique, you're one of a kind individual on purpose. God knows who you are. So when you start walking in who your purpose and what your purpose is, and walking and being who you want, he wants you to be, you'll start seeing people start falling off more. You'll start seeing people start running away more if they already wasn't. So because, again, for me, I never had that family in the first place. So then when things started changing in my life and God started putting me on a different direction, and they really started moving away even further, or they're spreading lies and rumors on me, or make up their own version of what the truth is, or their own version of the story, and they're telling my family, telling my children, and they're planting the wrong lying seeds in their heads and their minds and their hearts and their thoughts. Again, that's a them problem. That's not a me problem, because God knows who I am. Only as long as God knows who I am, and as long as God knows the truth, that's all that matters. If you're at your job and you're constantly getting harassed, or you're constantly getting belittled, or you're constantly getting betrayed, or you're constantly getting whatever you have going on in your personal life, in your professional life, it's because you're a unique, one-of-a-kind person on purpose, because God knows who you are. You have an assignment. And when we don't walk in our assignment, and we too busy trying to hold on to these people, because I promise you, this was me. I was holding the people that I should have let go a long time ago. And I still was hoping, God, I see they got the better than they do, Morgan. They do, but right now they're not ready. And when they're not ready, I gotta move away from you. I gotta keep that distance. So it don't feel so hurtful no more now, because I know now I didn't belong. I didn't fit in. You don't belong. You don't fit in. You're unique on purpose. You're unique on purpose. God knows who you are. And as long as God knows who you are, that's all that matters. So when you people are lying on you, backbiting, and I promise you, your girl Morgan done had more lies told on her in her 51 years of her life than they probably told about the same amount of lies on Jesus Christ when he was on earth. When he was on earth for his 33 years of his life. They probably about the same amount of lies, if not more, because I'm a little older now. But when I tell you the lies and the rumors and stuff that was spread about your girl Morgan was like fanning like wildfire and moving like the wind. And I was like, well, no, that's not what happened. No, that's not okay. How much more do I need to defend myself? And then the Lord tells me, you don't need to defend yourself at all, because I know who you are. I know the truth. Remember, what you don't hear, God hears it all. What you can't see, God sees it all. So he knows the things that the people say about you. He hears the things that people are saying about you. He watches the things like when you in their face and you hugging them and you loving on them and they, oh my gosh, she's doing too much. Oh my goodness, why is she all so lovey-dovey? I love my good heart. Because remember, when we were formed in our mother's womb, when we were formed on this earth, we all were born with wicked and evil hearts. But we have free will when we become older in the age of understanding and wise acknowledgement to say, hey, I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to be hating. I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to let go. I'm going to let God. I'm going to still loving you, whether you love me or not. I love who I am. And if you don't love who I am, I take that up with the man upstairs, because he the one created me. Because I made the choice. Again, we have free will to be loving. We have free will to be forgiving. We have free will to bring peace into our life. We have free will to bring joy into our life. We have free will to bring to be humble. We have free will to remove pride. We have free will to not be so stubborn and hard-headed. Because you know that saying, they said, a hard-head make a what? Soft boo-boo. A hard head make a soft bum-bum. As my daddy used to call it bum-bum. A hard head make a soft bum-bum. I'm tired of being hard-headed. Because if they wasn't doing it, it wasn't working in my favor. And I love the grace and mercy that he's given me thus far. I love the favor that he's given me thus far. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So because obedience is better than sacrifice, and Lord knows your girl Morgan sacrificed a lot, because sometimes I was disobedient. When he said, no, Morgan, I need you to go this direction. No, Morgan, I need you. Come on, Morgan, I need you to listen. I'm like, but no, I'm not going to listen. I don't want to listen. No, let him go, Morgan. But no, I don't want to let him go, because I know you got to listen to me, because I am the one that's in control. Once I started doing that, he brought peace. As of 9 years ago, because now it's been 9 years, this smile is genuine. 9 years, the peace is real. 9 years, the joy is overwhelming. 9 years, the love is still there. 9 years, born on 9/7/73 in Brooklyn, New York. 9 years at Kings County Hospital, which is no longer around no more. 9 years. If he can do it for me, endurance is victory. This is what perseverance looks like. This is what resilience looks like. I don't look like my story. You see my glory, but you have no clue of my story. And just to let you know, just the FYI, just a tidbit for you, I still go through trials and tribulations now, but I know how to deal with them now. He's given me the tools in my tool belt to know how to handle it now, to know how to deal with, to know how to be able to respond and react now. I don't be all up and be anxious and begging and chasing and running people down and, can you love me, love me, love me, love me? Because guess what? The one person who does love me is my God, my Father in heaven, Jesus Christ. He loves me. He loves me. And he's showing me that he loves me. Because you know the main reason why he's showing how he loves me? He allows me to breathe. He wakes me up every morning. He keeps me close in my mind. And he still gives me a heart, a good heart. I haven't changed a heart. I don't want to be on the bad side. I don't want to be down with the devil. I'm not down with that. I I want to have everlasting peace. I want to have everlasting joy. I want to have everlasting life. So when he takes his body away from me and he takes my spirit on up to heaven, I'll be where I want to be, because I promise you, being a firstborn, y'all, I kind of tell you, coming from somebody who knows all too well, I was a Cinderella in the family. I was the one who cleaned up. I was the one who cooked. I was the one who did everything and anything. And I kept saying, well, why do I got to do it? Well, why my cousin so-and-so can't do it? Oh, it was me. Because they knew I was what? Obedient. They knew I wasn't hard-headed. I told you, I remember asking my mom, I said, Mom, you sure? I said, you did a lot of stuff, or you allowed a lot of stuff to happen. You sure I was not a disobedient child? And she said, no, actually, you was not. She said, yeah, even when you did something wrong, you own up to what you did wrong. And I was like, okay, I just want to make sure. As I tell people all the time, if I get caught doing something, or if something was exposed that needed to be exposed, I'll go ahead and own up to it. I'll tell the truth. I may not give you all the information you need to know. I may not tell you all the things you need to know, but I'll give you what I need to give you, let you know, yes, information is accurate. I hold myself accountable for the things that I've done in my life. And when are you going to start holding yourself accountable for the things in your life? I forgave myself for the things and the choices and decisions that I made in my life. It's time for you to start forgiving yourself for the choices and decisions and the things you made in your life. Because guess what? God knows who we are. He knows we ain't perfect. He knew, look at Noah. Noah was a drunkard. Abraham was really old before he finally had his wife. Which one was it? I can't remember off the top of my head. Who had a lot of wives? Ruth, Naomi. I mean, we have so many disciples, so many people of the Old Testament, of the stories of the New Testament, who was not perfect, who was a murderer, who was a thief, who was a liar. But Jesus was able to use each and every one of those people for what? God's purpose and plan. And all he wanted for them to what? Open your heart. Open your mind to receive and let him use you. He ain't gonna put you in the wrong way. And if you do get in a situation or circumstance, it's to do nothing but what? Teach you a lesson. You're a unique person, one of a kind on purpose. You're a unique one of a kind person on purpose. You're a unique one of a kind on person on purpose. God knows who you are. You know who you are, but now you know whose you are. And if right now we're in this earth right now and things are topsy-turvy and people doing too much and life is lifing and they just, oh my goodness, like world is like doing too much. People are doing too much because they don't know who they are and they don't know whose they are. And he said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. I know your flaws. I know your failure. And I remember my big sister and we was talking and she said, Morgan, you seem like you always trying to be perfect. I was like, no, I ain't trying to be perfect. She was like, yeah, sometimes you may come off of that to some people. I said, well, I ain't trying to be perfect because I'm very flawed. She said, well, I know that. God does too. You don't have, it doesn't matter. You don't have to show that all the time. You don't have to show that. And I was like, okay, yeah. But unfortunately, I am a little bougie. Just a teensy, yancy, weensy, wancy bit. So I like things a certain kind of way. And now I know that's who I am. And it's okay. But I'm not perfect. By a long shot. I have family woes. I have family up and down. As I just told you, I have no relationship with the majority of my mother's family. I have no relationship with anybody on my father's side of the family. So all the people that we should be coming together reminiscing about my dad, we can't, because they all don't like me. They didn't like my daddy. Some of them are probably actually glad that he's gone. So of course they didn't like me, and I'm his child. But guess what? God says, I know who you are. You belong to me. You're my child. You're my servant. And when we start putting that deep down in our mind and integrating in our mind and deep down in our heart and our spirit and our soul, life will start feeling a little bit better. Know who you are and know whose you are. Because you're a unique, one-of-a-kind individual on purpose. There's no carbon copy of Morgan Rees. There is no duplications of Morgan Rees. And even when you try to copy me, You gotta take in consideration of my anointing. You gotta take into consideration of my calling. You gotta take into consideration of my journey. You gotta take into consideration of all the things that I've been through, all things that I've suffered, all things that I endured, all things I overcame, all the things I persevered, child abuse, persevering physical abuse, persevering molestation, persevering domestic violence for 17 years, or being with a person who really did not know how to love me, or being with a person who he tried to smother me one time and didn't realize that I seen the pillow coming over my face. And I was like, nah, he's not going to do that. And he tried to put it over my face, and I woke up. When we came to the end of our relationship, he pulled out a butcher knife and was trying to kill me. He said, I should gut you like a fish. Yeah. He put me in a relationship. I was in a relationship where he would always belittle me and say, even though my mom might not want me back at her house, and me and my dad, we fight all the time, my mom and my dad treat me much better than your mom and your dad did. And every time he could figure out a way to make me feel bad and make me feel like I'm less than. If something happens to you, guess who's going to come to you? It won't be your family. I'm the only one that got your back. He was mentally abusing me. He was emotionally abusing me. But I still seen him as a good person, because I kept saying, I know he got some good stuff inside of him. Why is he talking so bad to me? Why is he trying to make me feel bad? And as I told you, when he would say these things to me, he'd give me a Kit Kat. Or he'll make me a nice cocktail to try to bring me back to normal after he done caused chaos and confusion in my mind, to make me come into agreement with what. And at one time, I thought that. I said, well, you're right. Nobody in my family do like me. Nobody in my family do care about me. Because when he pulled out that butcher knife on me, I could not call anybody to help me. Even though my dad was back in my life then, I was still uncertain. And my baby I was with, I was like, but I didn't want him to get involved. I didn't want him to get intertwined with this family drama, this mess that has been created. And at the end, my daddy said, but boo-boo, why you didn't call me? I said, because daddy, all you kept saying is you wanted to kill him. And I kept saying, no, daddy, no, we don't want to do that. Why you want to do that? Because then I got to explain to his daughter, my child, his child, or why either he's gone or he's in jail or he's hurt. No. How about we just bring love? How about you have a conversation with a man to man? But if a parent does not know how to do that, they can't lead you. They can't guide you. So that's why for me, God placed a lot of different people in my life to lead me and guide me. It's just that I wasn't listening all the time, because I wanted that guidance and that wisdom from my mom and my dad. Again, he said, honor thy mother and father. So I want you to listen, children who are on this earth, being disrespectful, being disobedient to your mom and your dad, even though you full grown and you think you know more than your parents do. You don't know the chapter and the journey that they've been through. You don't know the pain and the trauma that they suffered. You don't know their story. So you cannot say, I'm going to treat them this way because of how they treated me. Take the time to do your research on who they are as your parent, what they went through, what they said, who broke their heart. As I told you, I had 3 children from 3 different men, and none of those children knew how to love me, and none of those children knew how to love the child that I had with them. And even the only one that's still left in her life, he's still trying to learn and figure it out now. Because he made a lot of mistakes in his choice and decision in his life. So when you get with a person who's already broken and you broken, how are you going to be able to love each other when you don't know how to love each other? As I said, I did an interview with my guest, YP Thomas. Shout out to YP Thomas. Thank you, YP, for the interview. Check out my interview on Good Morning Black People with Morgan Rees. Good Morning Black People is on YouTube, is on Facebook. Check it out. He said he had phenomenal parents, but he did not know his parents' journey and story until when he needed to hear that journey and story. And I promise you, your girl Morgan went through the same thing. I did not know my mom's journey and story. I did not know my father's journey and story until it was time for me to know my mother and my father's journey and story. So it can help me understand them, and then teach me how to love them, teach me how to react with them, teach me how to respect them more. You're one of a kind, unique individual on purpose. God knows who you are. You guys have a great week. Having a phenomenal week. Stay safe. Please stay safe. This weather is changing. Judgment is on the land. Things are topsy-turvy right now on the earth. But don't focus on the distractions. Focus on the man upstairs. Focus on God, because he's in control of everything except what he's allowing. Satan think he's running the earth He's not. He just getting as many people as he can to take with him because he know things is about to change. The change is going to come. Not much longer now. Things are about to shift quickly. You guys be blessed.